experiential sociometry tool I'm going to talk about is step-in sociometry, or circle of similarities. So this is a process where we invite everybody to stand together in a circle, and one at a time an individual will step into the circle and make a statement about themselves based on the prompt or the theme. And as they step in the middle, anybody else that relates to that would step in the middle with them. So we can quickly identify shared experience, shared aspects of identity, shared goals, and other themes, connections within the group quickly and efficiently. You can modify this exercise in many different ways. You could just go right around the circle and give everyone the opportunity to step in and make a statement about themselves. And each time everybody else steps in and then steps back out. You could do it popcorn style, where whoever wants to could take a step in. Or you could do it in a way that the facilitator makes all the statements and steps in. And this could be useful if you want to keep the process more contained and prevent individuals risking stepping in and saying something really difficult or vulnerable, perhaps related to their trauma, and risking that nobody else steps in with them at the same time. And this is a real risk of this exercise. You can modify this exercise for Zoom by using the camera feed on and off button, where individuals can turn their camera on if they relate to the statement that's made, and leave it off if they don't relate. So lots of different ways to do this exercise. It's important in terms of trauma-informed facilitation that you give everyone the affirmation to choose whether they want to disclose that they relate to something or not. So they always have the option to step in or not step in, even if they relate to the statement that's made. So this really emphasizes the importance of choice as a trauma-informed principle. As a facilitator, you'll have to also decide if you're going to step in when statements are made that you relate to. In terms of the trauma-informed care principle of transparency, it can be really helpful to use this as an opportunity for self-disclosure when appropriate, so that group members can get to know you better and feel safer and more comfortable and connected to us as facilitators. So step-in sociometry is really useful for illuminating unknown and unseen connections within a larger group. So I find this really useful, especially in the beginning phases of groups development. Just like with other sociometry tools, you want to be following that 3-phase clinical map to keep the process safe. So I might start with a prompt related, if we're doing a grief and loss group, for example, I might start with a prompt about what's one thing that has helped you manage and navigate grief and loss. And maybe each person gets the chance to step in and make a statement about one thing that has helped them. Then after everybody that wants to has taken a turn, then I would change and give a more difficult theme or topic. Now step in and share one aspect of grief and loss that has been really tough and difficult for you. Then the group gets to connect with shared difficulties related to the theme. And then I would end with something future-oriented. Step in and share one goal that you have for yourself related to navigating grief and loss going forward. So again, this is a really simple tool for illuminating connections in the group. If I were to do this in an organizational meeting about trauma-informed care, I could start by asking people to step in and state one way they feel like the organization is already implementing trauma-informed care practices and principles. Then I could move to a more difficult prompt and ask everyone to step in and name one way they feel like the organization could do a better job at integrating trauma-informed care. Then I could end with an integrative prompt at the end and offer for folks to step in and identify one goal they have for themselves about further integrating trauma-informed care principles into their work. So lots of different ways you can modify this tool, step-in sociometry or circle of similarities, for any group process. And if you wanted to learn more about that and see it in action, I would encourage you to check out the other video on this channel where we demonstrate it within a group.